Welcome back to Fairy Tail Anime Review, episode number 27. This one I'm viewing the 295th episode of the series, which is called Across 400 Years. Yep. Excuse me. This episode has a lot of the shocking, jaw-dropping moments of this episode. It has a lot of jaw-dropping moments that basically affect pretty much the rest of the series. We have the wrap-up of the continuation of the battle between Natsu and Zeref, where Natsu takes out his Dragon King mode and actually hits Zeref with it, but it does actually hit him. It does hurt him, but he's about to do a second blow, but apparently it's all sort of, Zeref decides to drop a bombshell on Natsu, a big, humongous bombshell about Natsu. Natsu is his brother, and the END, which was brought up in the Tartarus arc. I think Tartarus is referenced frequently in this whole entire conversation. The fact that even though that it was the leader of Tartarus, the one shown in the actual arc, that he was the one who actually really founded it, indirectly, Natsu founded Tartarus, and apparently Natsu was revealed to be a demon, despite being a human wizard. Yeah. And apparently he was created by Zeref himself. And apparently his real name is Edoros Natsu Dragonel. And he was part of in the 400-year plan, which comprised of 5 children. Himself, Natsu, Wendy, Ganjol, and the 2 twin dragon slayers of Sabretooth, Rogue, and Sting. Apparently, these 5 kids were born in the past, they were raised a certain period of time, and they were set 400 years in the future. Oh yeah, and apparently Natsu is bringing the fact that he has heard of this Eclipse Gate, which was actually brought up during the actual Grand Magic Games, which was actually shown at the beginning of the previous season of the show, actually season 7, which was the longest season of the series, by the way, which continued the Grand Magic Games arc. And this was the same door that brought about like a half a dozen dragons from the past into the future, and pretty much almost decimating the kingdom. Also has the infamous moment of Lucy being sort of having her clothes destroyed by one of the dragons. Yep. Yeah. And they mentioned a certain celestial wizard. This plan is actually more thoroughly explained in next week's episode, which involves Lucy's past. Yep. And because of all this revelation, apparently Natsu is partially wounded by Zeref in the most unusual way possible. Zeref shoots the END book. Basically a finger gun blast. Shoots the thing. Apparently, it also hurts Natsu's chest, which I'm like, how is this possible? Yeah. So, and we also have many other things happening in this episode aside from that. We have Blue Pegasus, the Mermaid Hill, trying to take on one of the forces of Alvarez, led by Wall and Damara. And during the battle, Damara fights Kagura. And she does the most unexpected thing possible. She humiliates Kagura by shredding her top. Yep. And by the way, yes, she does do it in the manga, though she's not the only person she does it to. I will explain that in next week's episode. I forgot to mention this episode is from chapters 465, 466, and the first 9 pages of chapter 467. As for why they split this chapter up, I have no idea. It's the second chapter they've done for this whole entire arc in this anime, where for this arc they actually split in half for some strange reason. I do not know why. But we also have in the episode, let's see, I believe it's Blue Pegasus and Sabretooth. Yeah, I think it's Blue Pegasus and Sabretooth. Take out some other forces. And we had the 4 Wizard Saints confronting the number 1 Wizard Saint, God Serena, August, and Jacob of the Sprig of 12. Yeah, they have a brief conversation. Of course, Jacob has this joke about, I can't remember this guy's name. He's from not Mermaid Hill. It's not Blue Pegasus. It's I don't remember the guild's name. It's the one that Leon is part of. Yeah. Where he basically insults him because he's bald. He's like, where do you get your hair done from? Which I thought was so funny. Yeah. But this overall was a blast of an episode to watch. And one thing that was so odd, though, they do show the Fairy Tokyo briefly in the episode. Mostly it's Branish's cell. And she's being strangled by basically her only known support in this series. Because he's getting tired of the mistreatment. So he tries to strangle her. Oh, and don't worry, she actually does survive. She actually is still alive by the end of the series. I will spoil that. As for how she survives, that will happen next week's episode. Overall, really good episode. Really action-packed. This arc kind of reminds me of the way of all the battles going on. It reminds me very, very much of the Fourth Great Ninja War arc from Naruto. Of how very similar this is. You know, a big, massive war going on. Let's see. Of other series I've watched, aside from the Fourth Ninja War, where they've done this with that one too. What do you think here about this? Other series I've watched like this, where they had like massive armies. Let's see. There's an Overlord a couple times. Let's see. I'm trying to think of other series that this is for. They kind of did this for My Hero Academia a little bit with the Hideout Raid arc. It's very similar to that. I don't think very series I watched. They did this for the final arc, the final stuff they did for Tokyo Ghoul Re, where basically Tokyo was turned into a war zone, where you had the forces of the ghouls and the CGC taking on a group of humans turned into ghouls. Yeah, very similar circumstance. It's always great to see for a final arc of a series and basically the big massive war. I don't know how it is for the final arc of Raymaster because I haven't read that far yet because I'm like partway through the second to last arc of the series. Oh yeah, they did kind of do this also for the final arc of Akame Got Kill, kind of. Though the arc they use in the anime was actually completely different than used in the manga. Yeah, and I know Toriko's done this a few times where they have this massive, like, brawl. Yeah, I know One Piece has done this several times when they end a particular arc for the series. They always have it where you have, like, these big brawls going and have various characters fight other characters. Yeah, it's very similar, but it's always good to see this. I mean, it's good progression to have all this stuff going at the same time. Oh, there is one other series I've seen this in. Hunter x Hunter, they did this for the Chimera Ant arc, where they had a whole bunch of episodes take place period about 5 minutes. Yeah, several battles going on, and it's all happening in 5 minutes. Yeah, of course, DBZ is known for doing this all the time. You know, massive battles going on in a very short period of time. Yeah, mostly just one-on-one focus on just a couple of battles, but they do it kind of right now with the Universal Survival Tournament, which I'm looking forward to basically seeing how it wraps up in the dub. Even though I watched all this stuff already. Yep. So as a fantastic episode. Can't wait for next week's episode, which is going to explore Lucy's past. And there's a character return next week. I won't spoil who it is, but it's a character no one has seen since Tartarus arc. Well, those who read the manga, yeah, you already know who it is. I mean, I know who it is, but I'm not going to spoil it. I will tell you in next week's episode, okay? But yeah, so that's it for this particular review. I have roughly 2 videos I'm hoping to do tomorrow. One will be Ace Attorney, that's definite. The other course possibly be Case Closed if I get a chance to finish it tomorrow. If not, it'll probably be Thursday. Alright? But until the next review, bye.